Coach Pry mentioned that he felt like the emotions got a little too ahead of the guys today. What did you notice out there in practice today?
Well, the great teams, the teams that I've been a part of that are great, have the ability to play with that same intensity, they play with that same competitive attitude, and play with the same emotions, and and not let it get the best of them. You can't allow it to get any further than that. And I like our team energy. We're doing healthy competition here, and I think it's great. So I like where our team is at energy-wise, and then sometimes it's going to get one way or the other, but I don't think it's any reason to panic as a team. We're in a great shape. We're fighting for the same thing. We all wear the VT on our helmets.
I was going to say, speaking of that, is it harder to kind of get the motivation factor going in spring ball, considering, hey, it's not really a ton of games to look forward to as it is in fall ball?
Well, it gets weird because you continuously practice against each other. You're competing with each other against the other side of the ball. And as guys at your own position, it's steady competition. But that's healthy for this team. That's exactly what this team needs for us to get to where we're going. And we're going to continue to compete, healthy competitions. And, you don't have a team on Saturday to take it out on. You have each other. But when our guys go in that locker room, we trust and they trust that we're all one, and that's how it's going to always be. It's been that way for years here, and we're going to play with that type of intensity, and we're never going to hurt the team.
What do you feel has been the biggest difference between last year to this year?
I think a year into the program, a year under the standard that we've set as a team that Coach Pry has brought in, the mantra, has been good for this team. Last year, every day that we took was a new day. Now we're compiling new days of knowledge that we've gotten last year. The standard is set. And we don't not only have coaches holding players to the standard, but we have players holding other players to that standard. We all understand what we want here, and we all understand what it takes, the little small details, and we're doing that better this year. Right? And we got to correlate those into continuing to get better this spring, because we can't win the ACC championship today, but we can prepare to win it today. And we stack those days on top of each other and have a great summer and then to a great fall and on and so on, and then that's how you can be a better team.
Stroman wasn't a starter last year, but he played so much in the nickel. Was there a point last year where it kind of clicked for him, where you're like, okay, this is starting to come together for him?
Well, Stroman is a guy that is continuing to progress, and he's getting better and better each day, and that's all we ask. And those reps that he took at safety last year in the nickel package and the base package was very valuable. Those reps were valuable. Those are experiences that he can bring into this season, and a lot of the little nuances of this defense he's comfortable with now. So those reps last year are going to be very valuable.
You got a couple interesting guys running with the twos now, a former receiver and a true freshman. How those guys look so far?
And you know what, man? There's a lot of opportunity for all the safeties in the room. We have some guys that switched over from the other side of the ball. They're falling right in line with their expectation, and they're learning on the fly. Of course, when you come from the other side of the ball, there's some instinctive things that doesn't come naturally when you've been playing on the other side, but they have done a great job. Both Luke Bussell and Jalen Jones have done a great job of retaining the information and then regurgitating it on the field.
How about Mose? How's he taken to
I'm enjoying coaching a guy. Mose Phillips could be in high school right now. So his hunger and passion to learn, to be coached, to get better, is exciting for me. He has a long way to go, as well as a lot of guys in the room. But if you have that hunger to learn and that passion to get better, it is really easy to coach. And he's a guy that's really easy to coach right now, and we're going to have high expectations for him.
He looks like a pretty physically developed freshman for a guy coming in.
It's a testament to his training program that he had in high school, as well as the training program here. Coach Deej and those guys do an excellent job of the mid-year freshmen and freshmen coming in the summer of getting those guys developed. And you can see rapid change with that development in their bodies and how they move and the strength in their core. And they've done a great job with Mose. Mose, you can see his body's already changed just in the few months he's been here.
Pry mentioned that Jalen Stroman was one of those guys who was barely gone over winter break and wanted to get back in the weight room as soon as possible. What's his drive like? What is his motivation like? It seems like he's always going.
We have a lot of players that make sacrifices on this team to be the best player that they can be. Jalen Stroman made some of those sacrifices. Over the winter break, he stayed around. He got extra work in the weight room. He did extra field work, strengthening himself. He understands being part of a football family and having a brother that has played here in the NFL. He gets it. He understands that you don't just do what's required of you. It is the little extra that separates yourselves from the competition. Not just the competition in the room, but the competition in the ACC and the rest of the country. And that drive that he has right now is going to develop into a great leader in our safety room as well as on this defense.
Have you noticed other guys, like some of the younger guys, like Jalen and Mose, guys that are transferring over to the position, have you noticed them taking after his leadership? And
Absolutely.
following
We have a ton of guys that have leading with a ton of experience, and guys that have just grabbed the standard and ran with it, and guys that are following them. And we have multiple guys. It'd be unfair for me to go down the list of the guys that are taking on those responsibilities, but guys like Josh Fuga, Narell Pollard, Mario, those guys that have been here for years, they understand that it's not just the reps that you've played that makes you a leader, but it's the way that you lead that makes you a leader.
How much depth have you needed to develop with guys like Miss Peoples and Hoyle moving and cross-training at Sam right now to make sure you have enough on the back end?
We don't like to pigeonhole any of our defenders into any position. And I know the offense do some things similar with their guys. We don't want to pigeonhole. This is spring, and this is an opportunity for us to observe those guys and evaluate those guys and see what's best for those guys in a position that can help our defense. So when you see guys cross-training, that's just us finding the best position for them to help this defense and giving them the best opportunity to make an impact on this team.
What have you noticed about Canteen moving to linebacker?
Jalen Canteen is a guy that has Derek Canteen, is a guy that has came in, did everything you've asked him to do, and he's like that Swiss Army knife. We can use him in various places, and we're just going to find the best fit for him for this team.